Which of the following is true? A. You can be fined up to $500 for not registering your cat in Taiwan. B. Cats' personalities are determined by genetics and not their owners. Or C. The best way to remove a leech is by pulling it off. Keep listening to Formosa Fauna to find out which one of those three is the only correct statement. Spend the next 20 minutes feeding your brain with Formosa Fauna so you can become smarter than all of your friends. Every Friday is Formosa Fauna Friday. Hello, I'm Tristan Hildebrand. I love animals and I love talking about them. There is no shortage of interesting facts, fun facts when it comes to the animal kingdom. So if you're even remotely curious, stick around and you'll learn something new. On today's agenda, we're going to talk about how much an owner plays in determining a cat's personality or temper. Also, fines for not registering your cat in Taiwan that take effect January 1st, snails versus slugs, the difference, and their many interesting details, Australia's emu war, and how to remove a leech. Let's dive right in. Today we look at an article posted on Psychology Today by Dr. Karen Wu to find the answer to the question, how big of a role does an owner play in determining a cat's personality or temperament? Plenty of people are scared of cats because they see cats as animals who will love you one second, then turn around and attack you the next. In fact, as of 2020, 38% of owners in the UK surrendered their cats to shelters because of behavioral issues, and of that 38%, aggression accounted for 44% of those issues. Travnik and their research team conducted an extensive review of studies over the past 30 years in 2020, noting that it was the first literature to comprehensively examine the personality of domestic cats. Their researchers focused on the personality traits of shyness, boldness, sociability, and aggressiveness, identifying 8 factors that contributed to those traits. When we think about what makes one cat calm and cuddly while another shy or aggressive, it's natural to wonder how much of that personality comes from the cat itself. Today in the office, I had somebody tell me, I've never raised an aggressive cat. And sometimes when I hear owners complain of their aggressive cats, I make the realization that the cat isn't too different from its owner. Well, like humans, cats vary dramatically in temperament and behavior. Personality differences in cats not only influence how they interact with people and other animals, but it also affects their health, well-being, and even how likely they are to remain in a home versus being surrendered to a shelter. Scientific research points to multiple factors, both genetic and environmental, that contribute to these traits. Among these influences, the owner's behavior, personality, early nurturing, and interactions with the cat play an undeniable role in shaping feline temperament. The very beginning of a kitten's life sets the stage for its future behavior. Research indicates that kittens need to be well socialized between roughly 2 to 12 weeks of age. They are more likely to become gentle and have positive contact with other cats, tend to grow up friendlier, more confident, and more comfortable with new experiences if they are properly socialized between 2 to 12 weeks of age. This is also why you shouldn't take a kitten away from its mother or litter while it's still too small, because they're less likely to develop the ability to tell how and when their bites and scratches affect those around them. You simply cannot replace how young cats communicate between one another. It would not be the same if you were to bite them to show them that biting hurts. I've heard of people doing that. I've seen people do that. It's different, okay? Although current research supports beneficial effects through early adulthood, longitudinal studies tracking cats into old age are limited. So we still have much to learn about how lasting these early influences truly are. Breed genetics also influence baseline personality traits. The more bred a cat is, the more likely they are susceptible to developing behavioral or health-related issues because perhaps along the breeding process, they weren't exposed to a large enough gene pool. However, even within a breed or genetic background, the owner's behavior, interaction style, and environment can amplify or suppress certain traits. Genetics may provide tendencies, but environmental influences, especially from a caregiver, play a major role in how those tendencies are expressed over time. One of the most fascinating and powerful influences comes directly from the owner's own personality and emotional state. Multiple studies have found that cats with neurotic owners, those who tend to be anxious, unpredictable, or emotionally unstable, are more likely to show fearfulness, anxiety, and aggression. Cats whose owners are conscientious, open, and agreeable tend to be friendlier, less aggressive, and less aloof. These patterns suggest that cats often mirror, adapt to, or are shaped by the emotional environment created by their caregivers. While genetic temperament matters, this research highlights how a stable, predictable, and positive household fostered by an owner who models calm and consistent behavior can encourage a relaxed and sociable cat. Beyond personality traits, the way an owner interacts with a cat through play, affection, routines, and communication has a significant impact on how a cat develops social confidence and trust. Research summarized by animal behaviorists suggests that owners who provide consistent, gentle handling and clear communication help cats feel secure and valued. Not sure how they came to that conclusion. Regular positive engagement, such as interactive play, soft talking, or grooming, reinforces sociability and reduces stress responses. When I was training a few feral cats, I would call them feral, to be more adaptable, socializing them, that was something that was really stressed to me, was that they need to have a schedule. They thrive on schedules, same time every day, same predictable noises, predictable movements. They thrive on having a schedule. The same time of day, you turn off the lights, you let them go to sleep, whatever. It helps them feel safe. Very interesting. And that's also the same for human children as well. So, in environments where interactions are unpredictable, harsh, or overly stimulating, cats may become more fearful or defensive. Conversely, again, calm, structured routines help many cats feel safe and can reduce anxiety-related behaviors. That is also according to the Environmental Literacy Council. Personality is not fixed at birth. Just as human traits are shaped throughout childhood and adulthood, a cat's temperament continues to develop based on its daily experiences with people and surroundings. A household with consistent rules, affectionate engagement, and enrichment can encourage boldness and ease. Disordered environments with stress, inconsistency, or lack of attention often correlate with increased shyness or anxiety in cats. Even cats with inherently bold genetics still benefit from reassuring human interaction. Some may even flourish in warm, engaging homes and become extremely affectionate, while others in quieter settings cultivate independence without fear. The quality of human-cat interactions strongly colors these personality outcomes, according to the multiple research reviewed for this 2020 paper. To summarize, 1. An owner's temperament and emotional stability can predict behavioral outcomes in cats. 2. Positive interactions and consistent environments help cultivate confidence, friendliness, and calm. And 3. Conversely, negative or inconsistent owner behavior can contribute to fearfulness, anxiety, and aggression. Therefore, while genetics, early life socialization, and biological factors all underpin the potential range of a cat's personality, the owner plays a central role in shaping how that personality unfolds and develops. With thoughtful care, positive engagement, and emotional awareness, owners can influence their cat's personality in a meaningful way, a lasting way, and in the right direction. speaking of cats, if you have a cat and you live in Taiwan, you may wish to double check that they have been registered, because Taiwan will begin issuing fines of up to 15,000 NT dollars or $500 on January 1st for unregistered cats with no microchips. According to the new Taipei Animal Protection Office, the registration process is as simple as bringing your identification documents and your cat to a designated station or vet to complete microchipping and the registration of the owner and pet. The office brought up a recent case where a cat owner left his door open and his cat snuck outside. He wasn't able to locate his cat even after scouring the neighborhood. A stranger ran across the cat, notified the Animal Protection Office, and swiftly transported the cat to the shelter, where a microchip scan revealed the man's contact information. So they called him, and he went to get his cat. Easy peasy. I have a close friend in Taiwan whose dog got loose when he was much younger. The dog got loose, the family let him loose almost every day. I think he would go to the park, take a walk, and come back home. But one day, he just didn't. He just did not come back home. My friends searched nearby shelters and made so many calls for so long every day searching, but was never able to find that dog again. He could only hope that someone found him, fell in love with him, and gave him a great rest of his life. As a pet lover, microchipping and registering is a great idea because it increases the chances that your pet will be able to find you again should you ever get separated. From a societal standpoint, it's also a great idea, even for those who don't have cats or may not even like cats, because it helps prevent malicious abandonment and finds those responsible for abandoning their pets. Not only that, but in Taiwan, owners can access the Pet Registration Management Information Network via mobile phone or computer to check their pet's microchip number. A quick check can also reveal sterilization status and other records. If you need an excuse to get around to it, let the upcoming 3,000 to 15,000 NTD, or about $100 to $500 fine, be that excuse. December 10th, 1932 marked the end of the Emu War, also called the Great Emu War, which is probably exactly what you're imagining. In November of 1932, they declared war on emus because, massive numbers of this massive bird were said to have been destroying crops in Western Australia. Although many birds were killed, somewhere around 1,000, even with machine guns and the actual military, they were largely unsuccessful in their attempt to curb the populations. Some accounts said it took around 10 rounds of ammunition to take down one of the birds. Another one said they flipped over their vehicle. There are many accounts of just unsuccessful killings of these animals. Emus weigh up to 60 kilograms or 132 pounds and are up to 1.9 meters tall or 6.2 feet tall. That's about the height and weight of a person, even heavier and taller than some. They're not particularly aggressive creatures, mostly just dangerous when around their young or when cornered or threatened. They provide warnings by charging, hissing, or puffing up, so overall do try to avoid conflict. With that being said, if they want to hurt you, they probably can. Britannica lists them among the top 6 most dangerous birds in the world. Snails and slugs might seem like simple garden dwellers, but they're actually members of a massive and ancient animal group, the gastropods. These soft-bodied mollusks are equipped with a single muscular foot in quotations, that lets them glide along a trail of their own mucus, nature's version of built-in suspension. They've colonized nearly every corner of the planet, from damp forests and vegetable patches to freshwater ponds and even deserts, where some species survive with surprising resilience. The biggest difference between a snail and a slug comes down to one thing: the shell. Snails carry that iconic spiral home on their backs, giving them a portable fortress and tool for holding on to moisture. Slugs, on the other hand, travel light. No external shell, just a soft, exposed body that requires cooler, wetter hideouts. That simple anatomical distinction changes everything. where they live, how they behave, and even how they escape predators. Compared with other animals, these creatures are unusual not just for their slow pace, but for the way they feed. Scraping food with a radula, a tiny conveyor belt lined with microscopic teeth. And if you think their bodies are strange, their love lives are probably even stranger. Many land snails and slugs are hermaphrodites, meaning that each one carries both male and female reproductive organs. Some species even perform elaborate courtship rituals, from circling dances to love darts, which are actual tiny darts made of calcium fired during mating. Their survival tricks are equally impressive, as snails can shut down almost entirely during extreme heat or cold, sealing themselves inside their shells to wait out bad weather for months at a time. The giant African land snail can grow as long as a person's forearm. Cone snails, a marine cousin, fire venomous harpoons potent enough to drop a fish in seconds, and their slime is now being studied by scientists as a model for medical adhesives and wound treatments. One last fun slime and snail fact for you is that France leads the world in snail consumption, probably not too surprising, consuming over 30,000 metric tons per year. Did you know that leeches are found almost everywhere in the world? The majority of freshwater leeches appear in shallow, vegetated areas on the edges of ponds, lakes, and slow-moving streams. If you're like me, scenes in movies have left you terrified of going in the water alone and coming out with company. But do we even know what leeches are? Leeches are parasites that belong to the same family of organisms as worms. There are over 600 species of leeches, many of which feed on blood. As parasites, they need to feed off of a host to survive, so if they attach to you, they'll begin sucking your blood. Some leeches can expand up to 10 times their size while feeding. If you come out of the water with some new friends, here's what you can do according to Healthline. First, locate the leech's head and mouth. A leech's head is smaller and slimmer than the rest of its body. Next, hold the skin under the leech until it's taut. Then slide a fingernail underneath the mouth to get it to separate from you. Flick the leech away before it reattaches. They also suggest cleaning the wound with rubbing alcohol or a first aid cleanser to help avoid infection, and bandaging your wound. You may also use a piece of paper or credit card to detach the leech from your skin, but do not use salt, fire, shampoo, bug repellent, or a pulling motion to remove the leech, as it can increase your risk of infection. So remember, find the head, pull your skin, slide underneath the mouth, then flick. Has something caught your attention recently, or has something been on your mind recently relating to the animal kingdom? Perhaps a pet behavior or a sudden question you had about the evolution of animals. Whatever it is, something you saw in the news, I want to hear about it. Send me an email at tristan@rti.org.tw. That is tristan@rti.org.tw. Making it to the end of an episode makes you a Formosa Fauna friend. Thank you for tuning in, friend. See you next time for Formosa Fauna Fridays here on Radio Taiwan International.